different, and did it come down to that incident on the first lap between your two drivers?
I mean, those will be all the things that we review tonight and then more thoroughly next week. I think Ferrari, hats off to them. They did a great job. They had the ability to kind of take a free punt, so to speak, because they you either go long and it works and you win, or you go long and it doesn't work and you finish third, which is where they were.
On the basis of this, though, Lando feels that he feels, I think, slightly aggrieved about that, judging by his interview that he's just done in the pen with Rachel.
I haven't spoken with him yet. It was aggressive. It was an aggressive move, but I've not spoken with them yet. And, we'll talk about that. I thought their start was great, and that was kind of what we'd discussed, kind of get behind the other and fan out to make sure no one else can get by. But I think Lando was probably caught by surprise with that move, thinking let's just tuck into a 1-2 and see if we can pull a bit of a gap. So it is something that we'll discuss internally.
You just said so it was agreed that one guy would fan out to protect, but are you saying that maybe Oscar went beyond the agreement or something?
No, that was going into turn one.
Fine.
Into turn one.
But Zach, isn't it time to introduce a little bit of team orders, let's call it that way, into the Papaya rules, as we've learned? Because look, that turn 4 now, you allowed Leclerc to come through. First of all, Lando almost spun. Yeah, I mean, that was very close. Yeah. It won't get closer than that. Close. And then you allowed Leclerc to come through. Yeah, and who knows, maybe that was exactly those 2.6 seconds.
That's exactly.
So it could have cost you the win.
That's exactly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Isn't it time to implement some rules here?
That's what we'll discuss, next week. We'll look at that because, unfortunately getting Leclerc in the middle, could we have been able to pull away and then, the 3-4 seconds we lost to Leclerc by gain that then? So, no, it's a fair question.
Exactly. I got one more. Sorry.
Okay.
Papaya rules.
Yeah, what are they?
Yeah, what are they? And was Oscar following the Papaya rules, or what, did he go beyond them in turn 4?
No, the Papaya rules are, it's your teammate. Race them hard, race them clean, don't touch. That happened. It was an aggressive pass, so that's a conversation that we'll have. It was a bit nerve-wracking on pit wall, but it's really just, respect your teammate. Lando got a bad run out of that corner as well, so kind of opened the door a little bit, but it would have been nice to see him run 1-2 a little bit longer.
Okay, so my 2 cents, the pass from Oscar was just awesome and fair and square, even within teammates.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents to it.
They didn't touch. It was an aggressive pass, but it was a clean pass.
That said, if you'd swap, okay, I know the sentiment here from McLaren is that you can race. You've just explained it there. However, there are 10 points that Lando has left on the table, and when he's trying to chase down someone of Max Verstappen's caliber, surely the number one priority is to win a drivers' championship, isn't it, Zach?
Number one priority is to win both championships. I know that's kind of 2 priorities, but they're both young drivers who want to win. We've always believed in having 2 number ones. That's always been McLaren's way. It can be very difficult to manage. You know what it was like with Lewis. We've seen it with Senna and Prost. So they get along great. They do race each other clean. And, it's philosophical. Do you a 1-car team or a 2-car team? And, the easiest thing would have been for Lando to just run away with it and then not have to put difficult decisions on pit wall. But, Andrea and I are taking it one race at a time.
Okay, well, one race at a time. But as I said, it's still a net gain, I believe, for Lando of 8 points. So the gap's now down to 62. You've come to this race and it was the quickest car again. Okay, but for the strategy today, it was the quickest car. Totally different track from Zandvoort. We now go to Azerbaijan, as we were saying, they're all sort of outliers, and then we go to another one where Red Bull suffered last year. So what is the thought process as you approach the last 8 races?
I don't see why we can't be going for the win every race weekend. I think we're going to have tough competition, but I think we've shown our car's good in kind of all conditions, all different types of circuits. We were very strong in Singapore last year. Baku's always a bit of a crazy race, but we're going to show up every weekend trying to go for pole, trying to go for front row lockout, trying to win. I'm sure it won't quite work like that for the next 8 races, but because the competition's tough. I think what we have is a 3-way race for the Constructors' Championship, because Ferrari's 30 points behind, but look at them today. It was them and us. So I think it's exciting to see what happens.
It's good Formula One right now, isn't it?
Formula One's amazing right now.
How is it when you're in the thick of it? Even better or even more nerve-wracking and sometimes disappointing?
It's a bit of both. When you start first and second, you kind of just think about where we were at the start of 23, and here we are, second and third, a little bit of a sting, of course, but I think we need to look and go, that's 12 podiums in a row, and we're 8-9 points out of the Constructors' Championship. Lando closed the gap, so not a bad result.
Can I ask one more thing? How destabilized do you think Red Bull is at the moment? They really seem to have lost their mojo out there, and you say you're receiving tons of CVs going across your table all the time from that team. We've seen some high-profile people leave the team. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, ultimately don't know what's going on in there, but, I think Adrian Newey, I bet it'd be nice to have him around the conference room table right now looking at how to improve the car, and obviously Jonathan Wheatley's still there, but he's moving on, and Rob Marshall, who joined us. So you've got three of the most senior people that were at Red Bull, huge contributors. It can't not be a loss. We all have bad pit stops, but it does seem to be that things are a bit more destabilized than they've certainly been recently. And
we hear you're trying to take Adrian Newey, but he's not returning your calls anymore. Is that correct?
We always returns my calls. We're good friends. We go historic racing, but as I've said, I'm very happy with the racing team that we have.
Depends if your pockets are deeper than Lawrence Strolls, I suppose. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate your time. Commiserations today, but as you said, you still
miserable second and third.
Okay, all right. Thank you. There we are.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Let's hear from Oscar Piastri. He was the